Hey, Omer.
Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good.
Rose,
Okay, this
Columbus,
is
Ohio.
Why my live not working? Why I don't see the live going? What we got going on here?
okay. Isaac
Oh,
Wilson from California.
Anthony Norris, Cleveland, Ohio. Woohoo!
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good.
Rose from Columbus, Ohio.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. If you jumped on, go ahead and mute yourself.
Okay.
Larry Fisher, Flint, Michigan.
All righty, go ahead and mute yourself.
Okay.
Texas. Jimmy Todd.
If you logged on and you hear me, go ahead and mute yourself. We got some background. Thank you.
Oh, let me see if we can check that. Oh, Sharon may have taken care of that. All right. All right, so I'm gonna say it one more time, guys. Go ahead, Sharon.
No, I said I got it.
Okay. So I'm gonna mention it one more time. I might mention it again during the training, but somebody gonna ask me, sure. So we're gonna be going over a couple of documents, guys. I'll be pulling them up, but I emailed those documents out. So you do have to click and download those documents. 2 of the 3 documents are fillable, where you can actually write in them. The calendar you can't write in. The calendar is just there to give you an example of using a calendar. So you can't write in that, but you can write in the don't let the minimum be your maximum form, and you can write in a day stacking form. So we're gonna cover both of those today, because we're gonna be talking about sales and setting yourself up, one, for the blitz on Tuesdays, every Tuesday that you hear Sharana bring up every Tuesday. And then we're gonna also talk about not letting the minimum be a maximum, meaning that should not be the only day you're making phone calls. And what I'm finding as I talk to people is that they're doing calls on a blitz day, but no other day. And what I don't understand about that is, why are you letting corporate's blitz day be the only day that you decide to make phone calls? Because you certainly can't be making too many sales if all you're doing is calling on one day of the week. So we need to look at making more calls than just on the blitz day. Use the blitz day as an example. You should be making calls every day, either follow-up calls or initial calls. One of the two you should be doing every day, unless you got some other things happening that you can't. Now, we know some people's schedules are going to be different. So there may be some reasons why you're not. But again, you run in a business, and every day that you don't make calls, either follow-up calls or initiation calls, that's the day that you literally have a business, a storefront that you're not going in and opening the front door. You cannot do business if you say, well, I'm just not going to open today, right? You may have 2 days a week that you don't open. That's fine. But you can't be open 1 day a week. You must do really good in business if you can open 1 day a week and be successful. So you're going to have to start making calls more than 1 day a week. So we're going to get started with our introductions. And then after our introductions, we are going to go into some different training. So please get those documents pulled up. I will pull them up here. I will share my screen and share them there. But I want you to have your own, because 2 of the 3 are fillable. Plus, I want you to have them just so you have them in your folder with your other documents that you can take advantage of. So, of course, we're going to start ladies first. Sharanda Ivy, you can get started with your introduction, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Dunbar. Appreciate it, and appreciate those documents. I haven't looked at them, but I'm sure they will be used. So if you guys haven't used them, you probably want to, it's probably some type of tracking. Dunbar does a great job with, keeping us with those type things. So again, good evening, everyone. My name is Sharanda Ivy. I'm here in Georgia, middle Georgia, Byron, Georgia, a little south of Atlanta. Been with LegalShield now for 8 years, and just love the CDLP space. So we've earned the LOJ Award as Field Trainer of the Year for 2019, and we're Business Solutions Sapphire Associates, and one of the top small biz and new group openers here at LegalShield, and a 50K ring earner now with LegalShield, and I focused, put that effort here in the CDLP space, and got laser focused, choosing my major and my minor, putting a plug in for the level 1 that we just had on Friday. Actually, that training really helped me change my mind, get my focus, on truly what my major and my minor was. And so we're just excited. Love to come to the call, learn what we can learn here, and go back out and apply. I am the CDLP state trainer for Georgia. And so I've been working with a lot of associates in the company. We get that opportunity to work with as many associates as possible. Just field training you guys, helping you to do the things that, I learned. And one thing that I really am, passionate about is helping others, because I know how it feels when you want to do something and you really don't have the support and don't really know where to start. And I just like to team up with people and, help them meet their goals, and together we work together to achieve that. And so just super, super excited about that. And if you've emailed me, because I know I looked in my email today, I saw a lot of associates emails, and if I haven't responded, give me this week and I will get back to you. But I do host the accountability call on Thursday night for associates that really want some more support. It's more like a mastermind. We popcorn style, everybody share what they're doing in the market, and those individuals are doing some phenomenal things. We've had some great calls here because of the activity that the people are doing. They're really sharing. So kudos to that group of people that is plugging in and making things happen just with that added support. So with that, I think, Dunbar, I pass it over to you. I don't think any other trainers are on.
All right, fantastic. So we appreciate you guys again. Robert Dunbar here. I've been with LegalShield for 13 years, been training on the networking side for 6 years, training on the business solution side for going on 4 years. I'm a 100K ring earner. I've got 2 50K ring earners on my team. I do work the networking side, business solution side, whether it's CDLP or regular group. And we're here to help. We have the Monday call because we know that the CDLP certification is not enough. You need somewhere to come back to and keep getting re-energized. So we have this call every Monday. And as some of you probably noticed, we're moving a little more and more into the sales thing because it's about IPA. And although we want you to really understand the industry of CDLP, you also have to understand how to make a sale. Because understanding CDLP, unless you plan on opening a logistics company, if all you're going to do is understand CDLP, but not know how to sell our product to those companies, then you're not going to earn any income here. LegalShield will pay you not only upfront commissions when you market a plan, but residual income, but they will not pay you anything if you don't make a sale. So if you want to see commissions from this company and residual, you're going to have to close deals. You're going to have to sell that small business plan. You're going to have to sell that CDLP and that family plan as a bundle. And we're going to be talking about doing those things, forward from here, just talking about how to sell it, how to pull these companies, how to research these companies, how to go over information that'll help you build into this space so that you're going about it properly and you're having the best experience. And the two of the things I would tell you that are the most important things when it comes to going into this space or going out and talking to companies is, one, understanding the company, meaning that you pull their information and you know whether they have violations, whether they don't, what area they have violations in, right? What kind of trouble they're in or not in. That's going to be one thing. The second thing is going to be, you hear Sharanda talk about this all the time, asking questions, right? Pretty much learning how to shut up. So we ask questions and you wait for an answer. And what we do is we sit down and we talk people to death and then we go try to close them. We don't ever give them a chance to talk to us. We don't give them a chance to let us know what their situation is, what they're dealing with, how things are working on their end. We just go in there and we throw LegalShield up on them and then expect after we finish that they're ready to buy what we have. And if not, then it's like, hey, what did I say wrong? The thing is, you probably said too much and you didn't give them a chance to say what their circumstances were. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as we talk about sales. So hopefully you guys have gotten a chance to go into the email and download those documents. You should have gotten 2 emails. Remember what I said. If you don't see it in your primary box, especially if you have Gmail, if you don't see it in your primary box, check your promotional box because it may have went to promotions, not your regular standard box. So check those 2 places and also check your spam. And the email would have come from Training by Dunbar. When you open the first email, the CDLP email, When you open that, that's going to prompt the second email to come, which is going to have the documents, which are the attachments. So 2 emails. First email is the reminder for the call. Second email's got the documents attached that we're going to be going over. So before we get into the documents, we're going to talk a little bit about the Blitz. So the Blitz is happening tomorrow. It happens every Tuesday, and the numbers are growing on the Blitz. There's great participation in that Blitz. It really got us through the pandemic. A lot of people wouldn't have been making calls and closing deals had it not been corporate starting that Blitz to keep people engaged with their business solutions business during the pandemic. Well, it's still going great now. And the first thing we want to do is make sure that you guys are plugged in to that Blitz. Now, Sharon, let me ask you this question because I don't really know the answer to this. Where is the most convenient place to find the information for the Blitz? Because I don't know where to go to find it, the most convenient place to find it, so that you know where to plug in there. Because it's to me, I have it somewhere.
Well, if you're doing Solutions sends out an email every Monday afternoon, and it has the Blitz information in there. If you want to get a reminder of the Blitz, you should just text the word Blitz, BLITZ, to this number, 844-471-1400, and that will start to send you reminders about the Blitz as well. So, but you can check your email, just like on the networking side that they send us an email on Sundays. On the networking side, on the solution side, they send us an email on Monday afternoon with all the information, all the updated flyers, everything about solutions is in that email, and it's labeled Business Solutions Weekly News or something. And so you can find all the information in there, weekly updates, and you can find the information in there. So I get a reminder about the Blitz, even though I'm on there, I get a reminder. So that's where I would say they could find it. And they can go back on the CDLP or Solutions or Support page and find it out there too. They promote it a lot on the support page, LegalShield support page.
Sharanda, can you give the number one more time, please?
They can text Blitz, BLITZ, to 844-471-1400.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so
that's what they can do.
I'm sorry. All right, there we go. All right, so one, we want to make sure that everybody's getting on that Blitz and to make sure that you also are setting yourself up. So the first thing I want you guys to do is look at blocking some time on your calendar to set up other days to make calls. In my suggestion, I would say that you should be looking at least 2 hours a day making phone calls. What do you suggest, Randa? You think that's a sufficient amount of time, or like how do you, when you're working with people, whether it be people on your team or people in the field, what do you suggest they're making calls a day on a day-to-day basis?
It depends. Everybody don't have a whole lot of time. I always talk about Wanda Bell. Wanda, don't have a lot of time. She'll take her lunch break and make dials. She might get 4 or 5 dials in, but I think the biggest thing for her and for us all is preparation. So if you prepare and got your call list out already ready, so whether you take an hour lunch and you say, well, I'm gonna eat for 30 minutes and I'll dial for 30, or if you don't only get to dial maybe an hour a day, I think preparation is key. So it's hard. I just, I hate to put that pressure on people, It's just whatever works for them. But it's just, I mean, if you get some time, make some dials. But I think the easiest thing is to be prepared. Do your research, have your list already ready, keep it with you so whenever you can make dials, just make a few dials. I mean, I don't I try to aim for 25 plus, but I don't always get that in. But sometimes, it doesn't take a whole lot to reach out. You just gotta keep the pipeline full. So I hate to put that on them, Dunbar, because some people take you for your word and then they give up on themselves because they don't hit those goals. But I just think they just should be prepared, and if you don't get but 15 minutes a day, just have your list ready and make the best of those 15 minutes. Whatever time they have.
Gotcha. And I am going to be a little bit tougher. And meaning that if you want to build a business, you're going to have to find some time, because your business is not going to grow if you constantly say, I don't have time to make phone calls. Well, then you can't run a business, because your business is not going to build if you're saying, hey, look, I can only make calls 1 day a week. Well, it's going to take you 10 years to build a business making calls 1 day a week. Like, you can't build a business. You cannot create enough income to go to conventions, buy tools. If you're doing group, buy lunch for the accounts that you're working with. Like, somewhere along the line, guys, you got to make a sacrifice, right? And that's what makes it a sacrifice. So if you're saying, I've got all the time in the world to make calls, guess what? That's not a sacrifice. Anyway, so making a sacrifice means that you have to adjust some things so that you can make the amount of calls that you need to make. Now, you may not be able to make 2 hours of calls a day, because that's 10 hours a week. I understand that you may not be able to do 2 hours of calls a day, but you certainly have to be able to do a certain amount of calls every week if you want your numbers to make sense, right? Especially if you're doing business solutions, because that's B2B. You got to be making phone calls, or at least walking into places. So again, you have to determine what you can and can't do. So sometimes if a person says, you don't understand, I can't make phone calls, I can't walk in, I don't have time to do this. Well, guess what? I do understand that. That means that you don't have time to run a business. That means you can't run one. That's the reality of it. The reality of it is, if you can't do something, then you can't do it. But you can't say, I can't make calls, but I still want to run a business, because you got to pick and choose which one, because that's not a reality if you can't make phone calls. You cannot run a business if you do not prospect. So income producing activity is going to always be your number one thing. So I've got this calendar up here really solely to make sure that you guys just understand, right? Like, your calendar is your boss. And I don't know what day you're going to use to set your calendar up. I use Sundays for myself, but everybody's going to use a different day. It depends on what your schedule is and how your family is set up. But I would tell you that one of the most important things to do is for you to put your family things on your calendar first. So if it's dinners, appointments, doctor appointments, date night, basketball games, football games, whatever you have going on with your family, get those staples on your calendar. Once you have them on your calendar, now you've got your other open time. If you got a full-time job, put that on your calendar. Obviously, you got to be there at a certain time. So now you see, these are the things I have to do for my family, right? My doctor appointments, my family's doctor appointments, all the things that are vital for your family to operate the way it should. You see that that's in place. Now you have to put your work schedule in place. Your 9 to 5. If you have one, put that on your calendar. You aren't available at that time. Then you have to see what's left. What time do I have left? And then schedule to make calls at that time. If you can't make business solutions calls during the daytime because you got a full-time job, you either have to make a decision not to do business solutions or to get a virtual assistant to make calls for you. But again, you're going to have to make a decision. Like, we all grown-ups here. Like, you got to make a decision. You cannot keep saying, I'm doing business solutions, but I work a 9 to 5, so I can't make calls during the day. If you can't make calls during the day, you can't do business solutions. Because you can't open up groups if the only time you can get on the phone is after 5 o'clock. You can't do business solutions if the only time you can get on the phone is before 7 o'clock. Because most companies aren't open yet at 7 o'clock. Most companies aren't taking calls to do business with them after 5 o'clock. You guys follow that? Yes, yes. You guys understand that? Just put a 1 in the chat. So you've got to, get an understanding that you've got to know what you can and can't do. That's the first thing. You got to know what you can and can't do. Either you can do business solutions or you can't. If you can do business solutions and you're going to be put it on your calendar to do it, when it comes to CDLP, guys, you're gonna have to do some research. You're gonna have to understand that you're going to have to go into Safer and go into FMCSA and look at these companies before you prospect them. Because if not, all you're doing is decreasing your chance of closing these deals if you call them with Lamar Reynolds script, but you don't know whether they need help or not. You can't call and say, hey, here's this script, but you don't know whether they've got issues with drivers, whether they have issues with vehicles, whether they have issues at all. We don't know what's going on with the company, but we're calling and saying, hey, we're here to help. We're here to help what? How exactly do I knock on Sharonda's door of her business and say, I'm here to help your trucking company or your logistics company when I don't know where she needs help at? Does that even make any sense? Could you imagine if somebody knocked on your door at your house today and said, hey, we're here to help you with your purchase of a new vacuum cleaner? You like a vacuum cleaner? I just bought a vacuum cleaner last week. Why you think I need a vacuum cleaner, right? Wouldn't that be ridiculous? If somebody knocked on your door and asked you or suggested that they were there to help you with something that you didn't need help with. You would walk in the house after you close the door and be laughing with your family like, who's this fool that just came to the door assuming that I need help? That's exactly how you look when you call a company with the Lamar Reynolds script, but you don't even know whether the company needs help or not. So I understand that everybody doesn't do that, right? And there's all kinds of trainings, right, that you can take for everything you want to do, whether it be sales, network marketing, whether it be group, whether it be running a business. I don't care what kind of, everybody's going to tell you these are different ways of doing things. But I want you to think about this logically. Why would you call a company and suggest help for them when you don't know what kind of help they need? Under any situation, that is not you as a salesperson being good at what you do when you're calling a company and you know nothing about the company or how many employees they have. Because if all you know is how many employees they have, all that means to me, if you're calling my company, is you're counting how much money you can make when you close my company. That's all that means to me. Because if you don't know anything else about my company, that means you haven't done any research. And why would I do business with you if you haven't done any research on my company? So if you understand that, if that makes sense to you guys, just drop a number 2 in the chat. Because I mean, it's really just, it's some of this stuff is, guys, it's just logical. You guys are hammering out calls and saying, hey, I'm going to get on a blitz, or I'm preparing to make phone calls. How could you be preparing to make phone calls to 20 trucking companies that you have not done any research on and expect to close them? Expect them to listen to you. Expect them to take time away from their day to listen to you talk about what it is you offer to them when you don't even know whether they need what you're offering. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So on the weekly calendaring, I would suggest you pick a day of the week, right? And look at your calendar and say, how many, can I do an hour a day? Can I do 2 hours a day, right? Like Sharanda said, if you can only do 15 or 30 minutes, then that's all you can do that day. Then just do that. Just do that 15 or 30 minutes if that's all you can do. But it's really the practice of doing it, guys. It's the practice of doing it. It's the object of saying every day, I need to take the key and open up the door of my business. And you will see that your numbers will go up because you make those phone calls. But you've got to be willing to at least make the calls. And you've got to schedule time in your calendar to make the calls and not allow people to distract you. Don't do laundry. Don't cook. Don't call yourself watching your kids at the same time. You need to have a space in your house where you're making those phone calls, where you can close the door and everybody that is in the house knows that you're making those phone calls. If you're not setting yourself up that way, you're not setting yourself up for success. Because there's no way in the world you're going to really call through the numbers when the kids are running around and trying to talk to you. Because you can't be talking to a decision maker and your kid is asking you for lunch, right? So you got to figure all of that out. So I know the moms are like, well, you don't understand. No, I understand, because sometimes I have my kids and the mom is not here. I live by myself. So sometimes I have my kids. Sometimes I have my granddaughter. My daughter lives in New York. When I have my granddaughter, it's just me with her. So if it's a weekday and I have my granddaughter, guess what I do? I take her to the babysitter. That's the only option I have. I got to take it to the babysitter if I want to make phone calls. Because I can't do business with a 2.5-year-old running around the house. So like we got to make some adult decisions and understand that. And if we want our business to run, we're going to have to make some changes. We got to make some sacrifices. We got to make some negotiations, right? If you want things to change in your business. So at first, look at that calendar, make sure you're scheduling time, make sure you're giving yourself an adequate amount of time. Reverse engineer. If you need to make, 50 calls a day, how much time do you have to do it? If you can't make 50 calls a day, you can only make 30, then no, 30 calls a day, 5 days a week, that's 150 calls. Start looking at your numbers and saying, how many businesses can I get opened up with 150 calls a week? That way you know what to expect, if that makes sense, right? If that all makes sense, guys, put a 3 in the chat. If what I'm saying makes sense, I'm gonna turn it over to Sharanda real quick to see if she wants to add something to that, because I don't want to just be doing all the talking here. Sharanda?
No, that's some good stuff. I mean, I have to do that too. I actually just got a new calendar for the new year, but but I have to put everything in my calendar, but I have to be prepared though. Like tomorrow with the blitz, I have to pull my list to make sure that, I got my research done so I can use my time appropriately. Cause I use the blitz definitely to mostly make new dials. Sometimes I'm doing the blitz to make follow-up dials, like maybe to my groups and things like that. But for the most part, I know on Tuesdays, in that time period, I'm focused on making new dials. So, but you have to be prepared. I've heard people say, I'm trying to look up my companies doing the blitz and I only got this many calls in. That's not good. You need to be prepared. So, so I think what you said was really good. Just preparation is key. So make sure tonight, get your list together, y'all.
All right, so I need a DOT number. Anybody want to give me a DOT number? Because I want to do something real quick.
38, 16, 12.
Thank you. Oh, hold on. You said 38, 16, 12?
Yeah, take the 2 off.
Take the 2 off the end?
Yeah, I just called out numbers.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. All right. So, and let me tell you why I'm doing this. Because again, I've got people who are calling me and they're researching companies for 2 days. Like, I don't know what y'all researching for 2 days, but you'll need to do all that research, right? I want you guys to kind of just look at a couple of things to make the call. You don't need to do thorough research unless you have an appointment with the decision maker and you want to just make sure you got all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. Look a little bit further into the company once you have an appointment. When you just call in on the company, you just want to know general information. Like, you don't need to be spending 30 minutes looking at a company to call and not even know if they want to answer the phone. Because you follow what I'm saying? So you guys are spending so much time, and really what that is, you know that. But what you're doing is you're looking for a reason not to make calls. I already been there, so I already know this. Like what you're doing is you're preventing yourself from making calls by doing anything else. You're working on your calendar, you're lining up companies, you're researching companies, you're doing it. And you guys know that, right? And if you've been there and done that, or if you're there right now, put 4 in the chat. You're finding anything to do other than actually pick up that phone and dial. So anything you can do. You spend all this time researching the company, you looking at stuff, you don't even know what you're looking at. You looking at stuff, acting like you know what it is, writing stuff down. You got a whole page of information on this company, and before you know it, you still ain't never called the company. Because you looking for a reason, like you distracting yourself. It's called self-sabotage. Because you're scared to make a phone call. All you need to be doing is going through here and saying, okay, they got 100 units, 129 drivers, right? You know pretty much how many drivers they got, right? You're looking at the interstate versus interstate, so they're probably over the road, right? They're authorized for hire. This is all I'm looking at, right? They're authorized for hire. I see what they're moving. I don't see anything that's hazmat on here unless I'm missing it. I don't see, so I'm saying, okay, they're not a hazmat company. I'm looking at that, and then I'm going down here and I'm looking at out of service, right? So I'm looking at their out of service is a little bit higher than the national average on the vehicle side and a little bit lower on the driver side. So what does that tell me? That tells me that they're having more problems with their vehicles than they are with their drivers. Let me make that a little bit bigger for you guys. Hold on. All right, so hopefully you guys can see that a little bit better. Right? So what that tells me is on the vehicle side, they're having a little bit more issues because they're under the national average with the drivers and above the national average with the vehicles. So that tells me more issues with vehicles than with drivers, right? On hazmat, it says they got one hazmat inspection, which lets me know that either they have hazmat or somebody thought they did, right? They are 0%, so they don't have any issues with hazmat. They're not having any issues with hazmat, so there's no need to bringing that up. I see down here they've got 4 tolls, no fatalities, no crash. So I'm not really going to bring up anything that has to do with crashes, and I'm not going to talk a whole lot about us dealing with tragic accident because they don't have any tragic accidents. I go down to Canada, I don't see anything there, which means that they're probably not doing anything in Canada. I'm just looking at general stuff, just to know who I'm talking to, right? So before I leave that page, anything, Sharanda, that you want to add about that page? That you do?
You can go back down, go down some. Right above the out of service part. I mean, what you touched on was good. So right here where it says 91 inspections. So the numbers are high, but just say the numbers weren't that high. So I tend to look at how many inspections they had too, because when I go over to the SMS, I want to see what type of violations that they're getting. So I just make a mental note that they've had 91, but they have quite a few drivers. They look like they have about 100 units or whatever. So that's kind of normal. So, but other than that, no, you touched on everything. I make sure I look at the bottom about the audits and what whether or not they're satisfactory or conditional, what their ratings are. I make sure I make note of that as well on this, and that's about it for this page. You touched on everything else.
Okay, good stuff. All right. So that's pretty much, guys, what I'm doing. I'm just looking through that stuff so I have an idea. And then you heard Sharanda says what she's going to. So what do I do from there? I go up here to where it says SMS results in the upper right-hand corner. I click on that. And then I go right here. Same information is here. We don't need to look at that. So I know, again, I remember when I first started pulling companies and I was wasting time. You don't need to look at this. You just saw it. So you don't need to see this again. Just go right on past that to the 7 deadly sins and go right below the 7 deadly sins and click complete SMS profile. Is that what you do, Sharanda, or do you go somewhere else first?
No, I go there.
Okay. So I go down here and I'm looking at the summary. Right? And what I'm looking at? Unsafe driving, hours of service compliance, 1 driver fitness, and the rest all vehicle maintenance. And what did we say the biggest issue was? The vehicles. And now we're seeing that on the right-hand side, vehicle maintenance. That's the biggest issue that they have. I go right on past here, and I look at the actual violations. The first thing I do when I get here is I scroll down to see how many are in number 3. Why am I looking for the ones that are still in number 3? That means that this is the highest impact. So for those that don't know what that means, this stays with the company for 2 years. Whatever violation happens stays with the driver for 3 years and the company for 2 years. How does that 2-year breakdown work? After the first 6 months it's been there, a third of its damage goes away. So let's look at actual points. Let's say a company had 18 points for something. After 6 months, 6 of those points go away. After the next 6 months, another 6 points go away. And then that last 6 points stays for the last 12 months. If you understand what I just said, put 5 in the chat. Put 5 in the chat. So it stays with the company for 2 years, guys. And the breakdown on that 2 years is 6 months, 6 months, and then the final 12 months. So when we see 3 over here on the right-hand side, that means that it happened within the first 6 months. So it still got all 100% of the damage is happening to the company. And what do we want to talk about? The highest pain point. What's causing the most damage? So if I scroll down here, 3 stop here. So when we look at 2, what's the date? March 17th, right? More than 6 months away. So everything above this 2, this 3 here and above, this is all, well, let me see if I can make it bigger without taking it out the screen. All right, there we go. So if you look at that, this 2, this 3 and above, everything above this 3, all these things are having whatever, however much damage it could cause is what it is causing. And then I'm looking at the OOS, 2 plus 2, 8 plus 2, 7 plus 2 times 3. That's what I'm looking at first. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop there and let Sharanda talk, because I know Sharanda's got some things she do with this stuff too. You on mute, Sharanda.
Yeah, so I do, and I put I put it in here that, we have a whole training on this. And so I do look at the summary briefly, like Lamar taught us, and then I go down to the bottom as well, just to see some of the, especially when the last violation was. I do, like you say, I look at the newest ones and the ones that are causing the most, which are the 3s, and just see some of the habits that the drivers are having. We know this company is having more vehicle maintenance stuff. So, I'm having conversations because, a lot of times, these people they're repeating the same issues, the same habits. And so this gives me more opportunity to talk to the whoever is the decision maker, just to see what type of things that they have in place for, these type of violations, or what are they doing when they get these violations. So, so this vehicle stuff, I talked to them about, the things that are out of service, because a lot of times, the first question people say is, can you help me clean up my report? And we can't, because they paid for it already. And so we can't go back. But my deal with all this is just, I like to see what violations are, what's happening, and if it's repeatedly. And we talk about, pull out, especially the speeding. I mean, we have with vehicle maintenance things too as well, but just some of the things that are most common and that most people think that are a big deal is what I talk about. But I've learned that, you have to explain to them that every violation on here is a big deal. It's safety. So, so back over to you, Dunbar.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. So I wanted you guys to kind of see, and Sharanda, how long do you think, and I know in the beginning it's going to be a slower process because people don't know what they're doing. So if you're newer to this, it's going to take you a little bit more time. We're not expecting you to breeze through this stuff in the beginning. But if you're working with a field trainer, or you got a workout partner or an accountability partner, y'all should be able to figure this out. So you should be working with somebody to help you understand this stuff before you're doing it on your own. So you should be able to do it pretty quick. But just generally speaking,
they should watch the video first. So yes. So if you on here and you not watch that video, you really need to watch the video. And we have 3 of them. So if you don't get it on the first one, you need to watch the other ones. I mean, because you don't have to be an attorney. You don't have to know everything about this report. This report is just something to give you the ability to have more conversations with who you're talking to, versus going in there saying, and everything that we do. You talk about the problems that you see they're having, and then you relate that with our service. So it shouldn't take a long time. I tell the story how, I used to make dials and call Lamar, and he'll tell me, look at the out of service numbers. We'll go to the SMS. We'll see what some of the violations were, especially the higher violations. I know Anthony Norris is on here. He's big about 10s. If he sees a 10, he is going to wear on whatever that violation was and tell them the severity of that. And you learn that in the CDLP training, the serious violations, and the ones that cause, that gives them 10 points. those are serious violations, and those things are hurting them more than anything. Just like Dunbar said, the ones that are new. And when you can learn to talk about just a few things and get just skilled with that, then you're able to have better conversations because you know what you're looking for, and that's their main pain points. And then you're looking at how we can help. So that's and it just gives you some conversation. I just tell you, I've done it both ways. Before I learned how to look up these companies, man, you know, it was okay. It wasn't bad, but it was phenomenal when I learned how to just glance at this and make some conversation from these reports.
Absolutely. So let me switch over to something real quick here. So for those that's asking about the video, if you go to the YouTube page, right? Just go to the YouTube page and let me see.
It's under announcements.
No, not well. That's on the Facebook page. I'm talking about on the actual YouTube page. So if you go to the actual YouTube page, if you scroll down like this, let me make it a little bit bigger. If you
need to mute.
Hold on. You got it? Okay, thanks, Sharon. So if you scroll down on the YouTube page, you'll see here, LegalShield Weekly CDLP Motivation. Those are all the CDLP videos, right? If you go through those, you'll see one of them says third annual, or you can simply go to your search bar and just put in third annual prospecting. And when you click on it, it'll pull up the video. It's right here. This is the video right here. Third annual CDLP Safety Score Prospecting Zoom. You can also go to the Facebook page, click on announcements, the CDLP Facebook page, click on announcements, and scroll down, and you'll see this video there as well. So that's where the video is at. So you guys know, for those who don't know how to find the video, that's how you find the video. So I want to make sure you guys understood that. Sharon, I saw you putting some stuff in the chat too. You have something you want to add?
Oh, I was just telling them to stay small, you'll get them all, because I've been working with a couple of associates, preferably in the CDLP space, and they're bringing me 600 drivers. I said, that's too rich for my blood, called corporate. And I tell them to stay, when I send them to the 2-hour prospecting video, to make sure that they look for drivers that are under 25 or less, preferably 5 to 10, where you just can get your feet wet and understand the process. So when I cut you loose after your third enrollment, you'll have a better understanding. And if you choose to go past 25, that's on you. I tell anybody that I have 25 temporary membership kits to pass out when I do an enrollment. So if it's anything above 25, I'm gonna have to come back another day because I don't have enough supplies in the trunk of my car. But I know if I walk into a trucking company and he said he has 5 drivers, we're about to have our safety meeting right about now. Can you talk? Yes, sir, I can. Enroll those 5 double plans and ask, who does he know? He'll tell me, John is down the street. They got 7 drivers. Guess what? I have 7 temporary membership packages left in the trunk of my car. I go down, tell John that Robert Dunbar sent me down here, and he didn't want you to be left out of the information that I just shared with them. He said, you know what? We're having a meeting tonight at 7 p.m. Can you come back? Yes, I sure can, because I hashtag stay ready, stay small, you get them all. Back to you, Mr. Dunbar.
All right. No, good stuff. Appreciate that. So guys, I hope you guys are taking notes. So this sheet I have, guys have the ability to download this. This came in that second email. Again, if you don't see the email, if you look in your spam, you look in your other areas in your email box, you don't see these forms, I will be putting them on the Facebook page when we finish up here. They're not there now, but I will be putting them there. So if you don't find the email, they will be on the Facebook page. But this is fillable. And why do I have this here? I have this because I don't want you to allow the minimum to be a maximum, guys. So whether it be your personal life, your 9 to 5, or your business, this is fillable. So if you're saying, hey, I'm not making calls other than the blitz, then I want you to put that in this box. I want you to put on here, right? For business, make more calls during the week, right? And believe me, it's something important about writing stuff in. So don't mistake that at all in thinking that that's not a good idea. It's always a good idea to, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. It's always good to write things down, right? So if you type that in there, because this is fillable, make more calls during the week and put that on your vision board, right? Or if it's at your job, you're not doing enough, it doesn't matter. Put something here for your job as well. If it's in your personal life, put it there for your personal life, right? It could be a family thing. It could be date night. It could be you spending enough time with the kids. It could be whatever. Like, don't let the minimum be your maximum. Always strive to be more. Why am I bringing this up? Because we have a blitz every Tuesday, and some of you guys are letting the blitz be it. You letting the minimum be your maximum. So as long as, right, you're doing the blitz, you feel like you're doing, well, I'm participating in the blitz every week. Why are you making calls on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Oh no, I just do the Tuesday blitz. Well, good luck with that. You might just performance club qualify, right? You could possibly do that with just the blitz four times a month, but you're not gonna do much else. You're certainly not gonna get a 50K ring, a 100K ring, earn 30,000 a year, 70,000 a year, or nothing like that. Not making no 2 hours of calls a week. You're not going to. And if you don't understand how that works, think about your job. You know what you get paid at your job, right? So what if you only went 1 day a week? What would that change to? What would your job pay you if you showed up 1day a week? Same way it works with your business, right? A fifth of whatever you getting paid at your job is what you be getting, is what you, so whatever you doing at LegalShield, making calls 1 day a week, then I want you to 5X that and make calls 5 days a week, and you'll probably 5X your income. So just don't let your minimum be your maximum on there. Anything on that, Sharada, before I move to the next form?
No, you're doing good, man.
All right, and this form here is called your day stacking form. So let me tell you why I have a day stacking form, and this is fillable too, right? You can write in that as well. So let me make it a little bit bigger for you. So what do I have a day stacking form for? A day stacking form is for those that, it's like this call, right? You could get on this call and just sit here if you want to and don't do anything. Nobody's going to ever hold you accountable. But if you get on that Thursday night call with Sharanda and you're not doing nothing, you won't be on there long. So that's what the day stacking form does for your business. The day stacking form is set for you to say, look, this is my to-do list on Monday. This is my to-do list on Tuesday. What I want you to do is start saying, I'm going to start taking my Monday and Tuesday and put them together. Right? And I want you to do that, even though I know you're not going to complete everything. I want you to do that because when you day stack, you create a sense of urgency in your brain. So I want you to put a 6 in the chat if on days that it's a long day. So you know you got certain days where you stressed out because you got a whole lot to do. Have you ever been like the end of the month or trying to meet a quota at your job or something else? You got something going on that's so serious of a situation that you don't let anybody distract you. How many of you guys, right, by putting that 6 in there, say there's certain times in your life where your phone rings and you say, oh, I can't take this call because I got to get this thing done, right, before this time or before this day is up. It's a sense of urgency in your brain. What has happened is you know that you got a certain amount of time to finish something. And if you don't finish it, you know that there's going to be some form of punishment, right? Or you're not going to receive something that you want. It's called a sense of urgency. That sense of urgency causes you to discipline yourself from distractions, right? So that's the same thing this will do. This will force you to do that on a regular basis, which will allow you to not answer your phone, allow you to not let people distract you. If you get up in the morning and you've got 2 days of stuff to do in 1 day, guess what happens to your brain? Your brain says, Sharanda, you don't have time to answer your phone for calls that's not coming in that has to do with what you're doing right now, right? Sharon, you don't have time to read emails that don't have anything to do with what's happening right now today, right? Willie, you can't deal with your kid's situation or your parent's situation if it's not an absolute emergency, guys, right? And that's tough for some of y'all. You got to know that you can't let everybody's situation be your situation. I got my own emergencies, right? When your kids are grown, guess what? That's their emergency when they're grown. Now, if they're on the way to the hospital, guys, I get it. Go to the hospital. right? If you just having a general emergency, my oldest kids are 23 and 20 and 26 years old. Unless you bleed on the way to the hospital, that ain't my emergency. If you call me and say, hey, I need some money for my light bill. What time when your light's getting cut off? Tomorrow? All right, well, I'll push you the money tonight when I finish doing what I'm doing, because that's not my emergency. You shouldn't have waited till the day before your light got cut off. You need to learn the lesson from that. Now, I know for some of y'all, especially the women, because y'all nurturing, and I know women are rescuers and they want to nurture and they want to support. I get that. That's in y'all's genes. But you got to understand when it comes to business, you got to cut that off. Nobody, and if nothing else, if you don't answer your phone, you can't be distracted. So most of you all know on this line that I don't answer my phone. I don't care who it is calling me. I don't answer my phone. The reason why I don't answer my phone is because your phone call to me is not on my schedule. My schedule for today, I made that schedule yesterday. So I already know what I have to do tomorrow. And if you calling me is not on my schedule, then I'm not going to answer my phone. Now, if I find a few minutes in my day where I can call you back, I will. If not, I'm going to shoot you a text and say, how can I help you? If you say I need to speak to you about something, I'm going to send you a link to have you schedule an appointment. Now, I know you might think that that's me being cold or me being distant or me being rude, but guess what that is? That's business. And if it's not on my calendar to talk to you today, you will not be talking to me today because I already have something to do. So you can't call me the day of and expect to talk to me because the day of is already set. And your conversation with me, you should have decided yesterday you needed to talk to me today and it would be on my calendar. You guys follow that? So it's just doing business. So if that makes sense, put 7 in the chat. You gotta run your business that way if you want your business to be successful. I don't care what it is, right? And guess what? You've already been trained to do that because some of y'all can't use your phone at work. What you think that is? That's your boss that's already told you can't answer your phone at work. They don't care nothing about no emergency. Because if your phone can't be on, you don't even know nobody needs them. Because if they're paying for 8 hours of your time, they paid you for 8 hours of your time. That is not for you to do what you need to do. It's for you to do what they need you to do. And you got to have that same discipline in your business. You've got to stop letting everybody else control when you're available. Some of you guys are just too available. Even on the network marketing side, y'all, I got clients that I coach right now, network marketing side. Every time somebody contacts us, you're available. You can't call me for a 3-way call whenever you want to. I got certain times I do 3-way calls. So I let my team know, hey guys, I'm available on Tuesday from 5 to 7 o'clock for 3 ways. Wednesday from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Thursday from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Those are the times that I'm available for 3-way calls. You can't call me for a 3-way call at 11 o'clock at night because you finally got your cousin to answer the phone. I'm sorry, I'm not available at that time to do a 3-way call. And because you're on my team, I don't owe you that kind of support. Those aren't even business hours. And the problem is your team is so small that you think that if you tick somebody off, they're going to leave. Guess what? If they're going to leave anyway. And you doing a 3-way call at 11 o'clock at night is not going to make them stay. So understand that when you build your business out, you need to have scheduled times that you do everything so that you're not being caught off guard. Because if you're sending emails and somebody needs a 3-way call, what do? Do you stop sending an email to a small business prospect to do a 3-way call for somebody on your team? No, you're not available. You should be training your team to send a text out to several people to see who's available. And then and the procedure should be when somebody says I'm available, send something back that says, hey, I got it. And then everybody else knows that they don't have to be available. But here it is, you got your phone in front of you all day long. And whether you're on date night at your kid's basketball game or eating dinner, you jumping up from the table to do a 3-way call and you think that that's doing good business. It's not. All you're doing is burning yourself out and making people think that you're available 24 hours a day. And guess what? Nobody on your team wants to be available 24 hours a day. So you're not even setting a good example. So I hope that makes sense. Schedule your day, stack your day according to what you need to have done. Send emails, not respond to emails all day. Send emails to get business. Don't respond to everybody needing stuff from you. You should be responding to people who are responding to your email, asking them about a sale. So if I send Shamanda an email and say, hey, do you need any more information on this small business plan? And she sends me back something that says, yeah, because you sent me over a comparison, that's the email you should be responding to. Not somebody asking you a question on your team about something that they can be asking corporate. Not somebody sending you an email saying, hey, I'm a member and I can't figure out how to get to membership perks. Can you let me know? I'm going to let them know that after 7 o'clock. They're not going to get no answer from me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm prospecting. Because that's not a activity, answering member perks emails. And your client shouldn't expect you to answer that in 5 minutes. You guys follow that? Yes, yes? Sharana, anything on that?
No, you're fine. I mean, it's good. I mean, you're saying the IPA. That's what you're saying. You're preaching IPA. And I think a lot of people get that mixed up with just doing stuff, and then they get mad because you're busy and they want you to respond to their emergency. I run my business by a calendar too, so I understand that. And but I had to learn that too, though, you know. So and a lot of us on here take the 12-week year, and we learn those tactics and things like that. So and that goes back to you saying you got to have time for dials. That's prioritizing your day, just like you said. And so I think you said some good stuff. I think the focus tonight was IPA and truly knowing what IPA is and putting in practices so you can get that IPA done. So appreciate the worksheets and all that. And you know, use it, people. I mean, like Dunbar, you know what I'm saying? Dunbar goes into a lot of this, you know, with his teachings, but he bring it to the table here. So make sure you use that because it really helps. I mean, we really got to take our business serious if we want to have the income and hit the goals that we want to here. And so I think a lot of that was shared here tonight. IPA is important. Your time is everything. If you give up all your time, then you're not going to be successful building your business or hitting your goals. And you have to teach people to respect your time. I'm learning that. So you just have to teach people, and you can't feel any way. It's a business. So and you have to teach it as such.
I think I heard Jim Rohn say that too, Sharanda, what you just said. Jim Rohn said in one of his speeches one time, especially for network marketers. So whether you own a business with employees or you're a network marketer and you got team employees, whatever you got, you got to let people have to earn your time. People have to earn your time. You cannot take somebody that sells one membership a month and be sitting on the phone with them for an hour. You can't.
Somebody said what's IP. We have to. Sorry for the people that don't know what IPA, income producing activity. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, IPA, income producing activities. So good, and I'm glad somebody asked that question because sometimes we forget that there's people that don't know what that is. So IPA, income producing activity. That's what you should be doing. And you give your time, right? People have to earn your time. If you're a good leader, if you're a good, you do powerful three-way calls to your people, and you have to make sure that they earn your time. You cannot give people expert, right, services and they're not producing nothing. You can't, because all you do is burn yourself out. So once you finish doing all of that all day, and then somebody who really needs you, who really produces, now you got a bad attitude, you burnt out at the end of the day, and you're trying to help somebody and you're not even doing it in the right headspace because you took all your energy, all your excitement, and you wasted it on people. And again, if you're somebody on this line that sell one membership a month, I'm not beating you up. All I'm saying is, if like I'm in Team New Vision, right? You ain't getting down yourself on the phone and you don't produce. Call your immediate upline. Because then what you need to talk to him for? You don't need to talk to Darnell. So you need to talk to the person who brought you in the business. If they're not here, then go up to the next person, You should not be reaching out to Darnell Self or Mike Humes or Linda Gray or whoever your upline is. If they're a millionaire club member, six-figure ring earner, if they're out there holding on to executive director, writing business, qualifying, being recognized, you should not be taking your time up with a bunch of no-nonsense questions and you said you can't even Performance Club qualify.
But that's just like you and Lamar. You and Lamar used to do that. I remember when I got started, Lamar gave me 5 minutes and boy, he was off the phone. I gotta go. And I mean, it is what it is, and I respect that, but you do. But and you, had to catch up with you. And I can remember I tell the story about Mr. Edwards. He used to tell me to to go do and come back. You know, go, you know, and that's like go figure it out or get the activity and then come back, you know, so I get it.
And sometimes you have to learn from those scenarios. I remember, I don't know, maybe a year or two in the business, because Alistair Evers is who taught me B2B, you know, and that's not my upline, but I went to him. And one day I called Alistair Evers. I called him one day and I was complaining about something. I don't remember what it was at this point, but I called him and I just went in. And when I stopped to take a breath, he said, "You finished?" He said, "Because you ain't got nothing but a couple minutes left." He said, I don't take calls like this. I never did that again. You see what I mean? I learned to respect his time and know, like, don't call Alistair. Call Alistair Edwards with an issue you need resolved. Tell, hey, this is my issue. Can you help me with this? That calling and venting, ain't nobody got time to hear your venting at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. We working. It's not time for that. So you have to, again, you got to earn, right? People, you have to earn people's time that are doing above and beyond, right? So I know what I make every year. So I know if I call somebody that making double, triple what I'm making, I got to earn their time to talk to them if I want to get to that level. And wherever you're at in the business, you can't be taking those kind of phone calls and just babying everybody because you're like, well, I'm in the process of building my team. And remember, guys, they're babies in the business, but they're grown, they're adults. They're adults. And you have to treat them like adults, right? You can be empathetic. I understand condolences and they're going through stuff and I'm going through a divorce and my kid is sick. I get all of that stuff, guys. But understand everybody's emergency is not your emergency. You got to make time to run your business if you want to get yourself in a position. Because time, everything is about time. The money parts, that's all. Money comes and goes. I learned that when I'm 46. When I got about 40 years old, I realized that it's not about money. It's about time. Because I can lose money and get it back. The time, I'm 40, I can't do nothing about 46. I'm not even sure if I want to, but I can't do nothing about 46. There's nothing that I can do to get back to 44, but I can lose $100,000 and I can make that again. So understand that the most important thing, guys, is your time. So make sure you're using your time wisely if you're building your business out. And the people who don't like that you're doing what you're doing the way you're doing it, they'll get over it. And if they don't, they probably won't even be around long enough for it to even matter.
Right.
Believe me when I tell you, the people on my team that didn't like me, they're not even here no more. So it don't even matter. They left, and they would have left no matter what I did. Right? So just understand, you got to move forward in that business. So anything before we close out?
I just want to promote the next CDLP training coming up November 13th, I think it is. You can go out and register. It'll be hosted by Alan Roman and Chris Seeley. And so you can catch that for $49. If you have new associates, they can get the free B2B training if they came in September or later. But CDLP is not free for nobody. It's $49. So just remember that when you're promoting that to your team. But please promote it to your team. Definitely get on the call. It's our monthly CDLP training. And, you know, just pick up some different nuggets from different trainers. Remember, when you go out into the market and you promote the services and you run into prospects and go back to the training, a lot of times you pick up different things because you're a different person, because you went out and started to do the activity, started to engage with people. And so when you go back to the training, you can pick up different nuggets. So, you know, always go to the training ready to learn. Don't feel like you're going because, oh, it's every month I just show up. Go and learn because you've been doing the activity. I promise you, I show up every month, and pick up something. So it's gonna surely be a good training for Alan and Chris. They'll be back training, and so go and get it in. So when you out, when people start to say trucking start to slow down these next couple of months, you'll be right there ready to talk to somebody so you can get them protected. You'll be, you know, armed and ready. Okay. So we got the Blitz tomorrow, and we got the Expo coming up here in the next few weeks. But check that email so you can get all your dates and keep up with that. If you in solutions, or you know you want to keep up with what's going on in solutions, just like you do on the networking side, they graciously sent us an email, so we need to be informed. And plus, guys, when they update those flyers in that email, all those new flyers are in the email. You don't have to go through resources and try to figure out which one is the newest one and which, where it's at. If you get that email and pin it every week, you'll have the latest flyers, the updated flyers. So that's just a nugget if you didn't know that. Everything new solutions, everything solutions is in that email. So I hope everybody is getting it. If you're not getting it, call corporate and see why you're not getting it. If you take a CDLP class and you don't take the test at the end, I'm gonna put this out there because I get a lot of these texts too. If you didn't take that assessment at the end, that means you don't get that certificate. So call corporate. The trainers can't get that for you, okay? Call corporate, call training support, email training support, business solutions training, and ask them how can you do that so you can get your paperwork, okay? So hope to see y'all on the training on the 13th. Make sure you register by Friday, the day before, okay?
And I got the link in the chat. I got a link. I sent the email to everybody as well about that CDLP training a few days ago. So we're gonna be closing out here, guys. Make sure Thursday accountability call. If you're doing some work in the CDLP space, make sure you get plugged in to that as well. And remember, on the CDLP certification training as well, Fred Rahal is going to be on there. The head attorney at Riggs Avenue is going to be on the CDLP certification as well. So you'll hear from Fred Rahal as well on that training. So guys, all right, next Monday we'll be back. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you, Sharon, for your input and for hosting like you do every week. We look forward to you guys producing, being on the Facebook page and plugging into the YouTube videos so that you can get better. We look forward to seeing you guys also again next week, Monday. Everybody have a fantastic week, and I hope you guys
everybody,
start your week off.
Okay.
Hey, this
Thank you.
is Jim Hicks. This is Jim Hicks. I just wanted all of you to know that John Hoffman had a very successful surgery on his knees. He's doing really well. He's walking around the house. He's doing well with his therapy. So just wanted you to get the update. You might want to send him a get well text or something. He does respond. So I just wanted you to know that he had the operation very successfully last week.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that.
Good.
Yeah, I will have
All right, very
sending
good.
him something over. Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you,
thanks
trainers.
everybody. Thank
Okay.
you.
We will see you next week.
Absolutely.
All right, see you next week.
Thank you.
guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Guys.
All right,
Night.
all right, good night.
Hey,
Good night.
Barry,
Good night.
information
Good
for
night.
the Thursday call is in the on the Facebook page. If you go to CDLP Facebook page, click on announcements and scroll down, you're gonna see a post that says "Welcome" by
Okay.
Sharanda Ivy, and that's the information to get on that that Thursday night call. Just so you know.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely.
All right, bye now. Good night.
Night, all.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Great job, Pam.
Robert, send me your
Yes.
calendar again so I can put it on my email. Can you send me your calendar again? This is Barry Fitz.
You mean the link?
Yeah, the link.
Yeah, you want me to send it to your email?
Yeah, send it to me email and
All
I'm
right.
gonna put it that way I can lock time when I want to talk with you.
All right, you got it, brother. I'll get that right out to you.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Night.
Good night.
Good night, evening.